Hi, I'm Sharonda.
That's not how we start. This is Corey.
And I'm Sharonda.
Because the man comes first. Right?
Do you have to cut hair or not?
I do. This is Corey.
And I'm Sharonda.
And I have to cut hair. What?
Can we start for real, please?
This is Corey.
And I'm Sharonda.
And this is Until Forever. This is a relationship podcast where we do not claim to be experts or gurus or anything of that nature. We are just wanting to share our journey with you, and we're hoping that you'll come along with us on this journey. We're also hoping that you can share some stuff with us.
Please.
So send us the comments, send us the likes, because we want to know if you like it or not. Send us some inboxes, send us questions. We've been getting questions lately. It's pretty cool. We've gotten 2, I think.
Yes.
1, 2. We'll take them.
We answered one last episode.
We did do that. This is episode 10.
Doo-doo.
So I think we've hit a milestone. This is pretty awesome. And today's conversation is going to be kind of deep. We're going to get a little deep, I think.
It's not that deep.
It's kind of, well, if you take it there.
Okay.
I think it could get deep. First of all, before we go any further, can you tell them how to find us?
You can find us on social media outlets at Until Forever Podcast.
Mm-hmm. And if you watched the last episode and the 8 other ones before that one, you would know that is true. And you can find it right here on your screen. I do that specifically so I can do right here.
I understand.
Well, I could put it here. I could put it here.
Okay.
Okay. I just think that's
You can follow us at Until Forever Podcast.
You can do it. Do it one time. Where you want to put it?
Right there.
Why'd you put it right there?
Because you didn't.
Okay. Whatever. So, listening.
Are you listening?
Are you listening? If you're listening to us right now, you're listening. Very good, by the way. But you would be surprised how little we think of the simple skill of just simply listening, and how important it is in relationships. So I want to pose a question to my wonderful, lovely wife. When did you first realize?
I don't know why you're asking this question.
How important listening is when it comes to relationships? Yeah. It don't have to be about me. It could be a family member.
Well, I'm sure I realized it before this, but the most recent example I can think of is with my sister last year.
Yeah.
Remember when we weren't talking and then we were talking again?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just more so about like not just doing like the general, hey, how you doing type stuff, but like actually allowing her to talk and then not zoning out when she's talking for a long time and then jumping back in to pay attention so that I can respond.
Mm-hmm.
But actually listening to what she's saying, which in turn is, it's the same thing with the kids, because the kids can go on and on and on. And it's like, yeah, okay. But if I'm actually paying attention, listening and paying attention to what they are saying, then I can actively respond to what they are saying.
Okay. I like that. I think, okay, so let's go here. I think that listening, actively listening to whoever you're listening to first makes them feel heard. Mm-hmm. Which in any relationship is important. It's important that you feel heard. I won't say that, but feeling heard is a step to being understood, but I think that it's so important. I think it's so important in my line of field and what I do at work. A lot of times I deal with disgruntled individuals, and you would be surprised how many of those individuals are they're angry, they're upset, and they just want to be heard. They just want to, they don't know that, of course. They want this, that, and the other, and they mad, they screaming and yelling. But, a lot of my approach most of the time is I just stand there and I look at them. I'll do the well placed, yeah, okay. What? You gotta do that. What? That's how you know. That's how you know. Wait, I'm giving my secrets away because I'll be doing that to Sharonda. She'll be talking. I'll be like, "What? Are you serious?" But that's when they know you're listening. It's like, wow, we're building dialogue. We're getting somewhere. I'm being heard. This is the beginning of solving my issue. Mm-hmm. How many problems do you think people in relationships deal with simply because somebody's not listening?
Probably a ton of issues, because how many times do people have to constantly hash out like a certain topic? Or, and it's like, well, are you not listening to me? No, they're probably not, because you fuss about it all the time. So they just kind of tune you out every time you start on it. So they're not really hearing any concerns that you have by the time you get to the concerns, because you spent the first few minutes getting them to the point where they're like, well, let me tune this up.
Right. So now nothing's productive and it's just bouncing off the walls. That's a very good point, because I think with us, if we can get personal for a second, a lot of issues that we had even early on were because, see, I'm Mr. Fix It. I'm Mr. Fix It. And and when I say that, I don't mean like I can do anything, but I'm the type where if Sharonda has a problem, I have to fix the problem. I have to fix it. So she could be upset about something that happened at work. My goal is to figure out what that was, how I can fix it, how I can make it better for her so that she never has to deal with that again. That's like my mindset. But I found out that, I'm not listening to her. I'm just simply looking for ways that I can help. In a way that could be selfish. I had good intentions, but her needs don't get met. I mean, she could have a back rub issue. My back hurts. Okay, I'll rub your back. But it's totally different when sometimes you just want to be heard. Sometimes Sharonda just wants to talk, and she wants to say,
I do like to talk.
What's going on. Like she'll have the whole work spiel ready for when I think she plans it out and she practices it until she, on her way home. And then when she gets home, she's like, yes, it's my time. And then today at work I did this, that, and that, and then that happened and that happened, and I have to do the what?
Don't be so bogus.
I don't do that. But seriously, I think being heard and actually actively listening, it helps. It helps steer the conversation. It helps move towards solutions. So have you ever had an aha moment with me when you're like, oh, I should have just listened. He said it 12 times.
I don't think so. I don't. Do you think I've had an aha moment?
Let me think of one.
Because I don't think I've had one.
Let me think of one. Honestly, Sharonda's really good at listening. And I guess it's another level of listening, because she's good at seeing and hearing what I'm saying, but then knowing what's really needed at the moment. And she'll like address that need. So it's like, oh, she heard me. She knew.
But do you think you listen to me like that?
Nope. I do not. Sometimes I do my best. It's not easy. I think it's something that only women can do, honestly.
I don't think so.
I don't know. You guys are very intuitive. How do you say it?
Intuitive.
Yeah, that's what you all are. You guys are able to do that. I can't say that. I guess we all kind of are in our own way. If I put forth, I don't know. Maybe I am. when I want
Oh
to
my
be.
goodness.
What?
Because you like having a conversation with yourself.
Oh, sorry. See, I think it's the medicine. You guys, last week, Sharonda had the allergies, and I was teasing her. I left some stuff in the video. Y'all was laughing, I'm sure. And I was laughing, and now this week you can hear how I sound. I'm just, and nothing is working for me. I got tissue on deck.
You can't just take medicine for a few hours and be like, it's not working.
I take it consistently. I'm listening.
Every 4 hours. You take it every 4 hours. Yes or no?
Yeah, a little bit.
See?
Sometimes.
I take everything I take as the box says. On the dot. And sometimes I don't even wait for the 4-hour thing to click. I was like,
That's how you overdose.
3 hours and 30 minutes? Yeah, I'll take it.
No, that's how you overdose.
But I sound better than you do.
Well, I need to overdose.
I don't take 2 at a time. I just take it.
So I don't know, guys. Listening is very important. It's very important in your relationships. Why is it that we don't listen? Why don't we listen? And I'm going to let you say it, but I'm going to tell you why you don't listen.
Because it's selfish. You want to be heard. You want your opinion. You want your side. And 9 times out of 10, you don't really care what your significant other is saying because you want them to do what you want done. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter what they say or how they're saying it, because at the end of the day, you're just like, okay, yes, but my way is right.
Now, I don't do that, by the way. One of us.
I do.
One of us. It ain't me.
I do.
One of us.
I feel like it's my job. It's like I'm in court and I need to convince you of why my way is the right way.
And I honestly just be looking for the best solution. I'm trying to figure things out. I'm trying to navigate through stuff. She's stubborn and she will hold on to being wrong just because she don't want to be wrong. And I believe that in every relationship, somebody is like that. Somebody is like that. And I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't understand. But I don't, I deal with it because I know. So it's easier to deal with once you know. But I think you're absolutely right. We don't want to be good listeners because we're too busy trying to prove a point.
Definitely.
We're too busy trying to prove a point, especially in arguments. And, I'm all for arguments. I love arguments. I love, my version of arguments. I'm not talking about throwing stuff and screaming and yelling. I'm talking about constructive conversation that may get heated, but we're getting somewhere. It starts off, you angry and all that, but say what you got to say, get it off your chest, but let's work towards a solution. Let's make it constructive. Mm-hmm. And I think that in some relationships, I don't know, do you think with us we kind of fumbled our way around that for a while? Definitely,
because the first few years were horrible.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
I think our communication has just gotten better over the years.
Oh Lord, I love God for blessing us to be able to communicate the way we do now. And again, it was a learning curve. Did you ever tell the story of our first argument?
I thought we did. No. What was our first argument? The one in our first apartment, or the one outside of your mom's house? We told the one outside your mom's house.
Okay, so we had an argument in our apartment. We had a nice little townhouse.
Yeah, like a duplex type thing.
We had stairs and everything.
Okay.
So the house, I don't even remember what we were. What we were talking about?
I have no clue what the argument was over. I just know
I raised my voice.
I totally went in a different room.
I got angry, and in no way, shape, or form would I ever put in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm talking about. I will put my hands.
Oh my goodness.
on my,
Okay.
you know.
You don't have to take everybody's brain there. Okay.
You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so, but I would never, harm my wife, abuse. I would never do anything, verbally abuse, physically, none of that, ever. And but I got angry, and I raised my voice, and because that was our first argument like that, it kind of a switch flipped in her, and it freaked her out. And she was like, "Whoa, this is going somewhere."
It's way too heated for me.
So she literally got up and quickly.
I left our room and went into the guest room.
To the guest room. I didn't even see her feet move. Like she floated. She flew. I don't know how she did that, but she went in there and she shut the door and locked it. And I'm telling you, to her, if I could process this, because I don't think I've ever even processed these feelings verbally for you.
Okay.
So that you can know how it felt.
You think they can hear that?
Probably. Y'all, we in the garage.
We're in the garage, guys.
We in the garage. We ain't top notch. We ain't there yet.
So
some of y'all
got
podcasts. Y'all got podcasts. Y'all recording in the studio. We don't have no studio, okay? We got a makeshift studio. One day we gonna turn these cameras around, let you see what everything. Because we got nice stuff. We got lights and things, Anyway, so I can't even laugh right because I'm so congested. So I don't even know what that was. Like that Heathcliff laugh or that dastardly. What's his name? That's how I'm laughing right now.
That's his name. Excuse my blanket, guys. The temperature just completely dropped today.
You know why? Because we in the garage. Okay, so the level of emotions that I went through, like it was like, whoa, she's scared of me, and then. For a second, it was like she's supposed to be. I'm the man.
What?
And then I'm telling you, for like a second, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute, no, my wife ain't supposed to be scared of me. And then it was like, so she doesn't feel like I would protect her. And then it was like she feels safe now because she's in another room with the door locked, like just totally away from her protector, her man, her husband, the one she gave her life to, she vowed to be with.
Gave my life.
And you didn't?
I gave my life to Christ.
Oh, well, you know what I mean. I'm not Jesus. You know what I mean.
Okay.
So I just for a little while I'm sitting there and those feelings and emotions are stirring and I'm like, wow, what just happened? Mm-hmm. What in the world is going on here? And I just it baffles me because our first big argument, she didn't feel safe, and I said something needs to be done here. I don't want her to ever feel like she's got to run and get in another room and lock the door because we're having a disagreement.
Yeah.
So that was the first time that's happened. Last time it's happened.
Yeah. And
sometimes I wish I could scare her because
I'm not scared.
Now she not feel like I messed up. She know I ain't gonna never do nothing to her now. Do y'all think, fellas? Do you think your woman should live with just a little bit of fear?
What?
Just a little bit. Not that
you sound like a psycho.
That is kind of. I ain't gonna never do nothing to her, but she need to think that you.
What? That sound like some crazy old school nonsense.
Y'all, I'm just playing. I'm serious.
But yes, I would definitely say our communication skills evolved over the year, and over the years, it was definitely by trial and error. We never really had any real guidance on listening and communicating with one another. We just kind of figured out what works for us. Here's a tissue right there.
There you go.
And but yeah, I don't think it was ever one particular thing. It was just kind of like, man, for me, being the perfectionist that I am, it's just kind of like, oh my gosh, could you just tell me? I say that all the time. Could you just tell me specifically what I need to do, so that I could do it, so we don't have to have this conversation again. And that's just when I had the magazine. Mm-hmm. Just about time, quality time, giving attention, and just it it was kind of like, why do we keep talking about this? And so for me, I thought it was like a checklist thing, but that's not what you wanted. And so part of listening is not just hearing the words that somebody's saying, but actually like pausing and thinking about, reflecting on what is being said, reflecting on what has happened, looking at their body language, and just thinking about what actions need to be taken in order to move forward in a positive way after this discussion is had, whatever the discussion is. Because if you just keep sitting there listening and nothing ever changes, then you're just listening for no reason at that point. It's like the other person's feelings and desires don't even matter to you.
So you listened, and what are you going to do about it? After you've listened and you've heard what you need to hear, are you going to then apply the necessary measures?
Life application.
You can listen all day long, but if you're not going to act on what you just heard, it's pointless. Huh.
Definitely.
So, we've had areas in our lives that we both know we needed to listen more. Is it possible to listen too much?
Like overthinking?
However you interpret.
I interpret it as overthinking, which I do a lot.
Let's get into that. Let's get into that a little bit.
Whatever.
You think you?
I know I overthink things. I'm overanalyzing everything because I don't want to miss anything. Especially if something is a sore spot. Or if I feel like I'm failing in a particular area. So now I'm over listening and I'm like, oh, well, did you mean that judgmentally? Like, are you trying to accuse me of something?
That just happened.
What were we talking about?
Well, we were traveling back from Maryville.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. We were traveling on the road, and this is our first road trip with the kids since Christmas of 2019.
Yeah.
And was that when I did that, or was that when we came back from the funeral in May for my grandfather's funeral?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So last year, in May, I lost my grandfather, and we were coming back from Chicago to Carbondale, and as we were getting off the exit, I had a tendency to drive fast, and as we were getting off the exit, I didn't slow down as quickly as I needed to, and so we came off the ramp just a tad bit and busted a tire. So this weekend that just passed, we were coming back from Maryville, Indiana, and to Carbondale, and Corey was asleep, and he woke up and was like, okay, you can get off. And I was like driving 85 miles per hour in a 70 mile per hour zone.
90.
I was doing 85. I had on cruise control. Anyway, can you imagine somebody being like, hey, get off right here, and you're going 85 miles per hour? So I had to hurry up and slow down. And then he was like, I felt like I was on Star Trek. Da, 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 da. And I was like, are you trying to say that I know how to drive? You're taking a dig at me because da, 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 from last year. Yeah, I totally thought I was over listening. I was overthinking.
Her whole attitude changed.
I was upset.
Her whole attitude changed. And I had to do fellas, you know how we do when we get, girl, I would never do you like that. I would never throw something in your face just to spite you. I would never do that. Like, I had to do the whole.
Were you putting on? Is that what you're saying?
No, I didn't put on. It came out like that. And I'm just remembering how it came. Sometimes it's just there. Mm-hmm. It's just there,
Anywho, that's an example of me over-listening, overthinking what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Because he was just making a joke about me driving fast. But I took it as, oh, you're trying to bring up when I messed up the tire that time.
Man, look, I'm telling y'all, on Star Wars. When they go warp speed and the lights.
It is not like that.
That's how it was.
It is not. Probably because you had your cheerleading back sleep.
That's how it was. I know I was there. That's how it was. I was out of it. I was very tired. Listen, um, this we need to wrap this up. Listening is very important.
Very.
Active listening
Is even more important.
is even more important. Over listening. It
That's
takes
not
a
even
little,
a technical term. He's just making it up.
no, yeah, no, no. But it takes a little. It takes a little practice. You gotta, because we do have some overthinkers out there, and there's, let's say this, there's nothing wrong with you if you overthink. There's nothing wrong with you. That's just your makeup. That's how you are. And in most cases, most overthinkers are perfectionists, and they're people who like things done a certain way. They're people who, they don't take no for an answer. They want the A plus, not just the A. And those people are very successful people. So I'm not knocking anybody who over listens or who goes that extra mile and who overthinks because you're listening too hard. But be considerate of who you're listening to. Try to keep it case by case so that you aren't stressing yourself out over just a car ride.
What do you mean by case by case?
Because, like, I don't know, I might have messed up by saying that. Because, no, honestly, because some things don't require a whole lot of thinking. Like, with some stuff, you just don't have to, some stuff you should know. Okay, this example that we just gave, because you were mad because you thought I was taking a dig at you. But you should know that I would never do that to you. I would never bring up something that was dramatic for you, because she downplayed that off the rap. We spun in a circle, just so y'all know.
We didn't spin in no circle.
We spun in a circle? We ain't spin in a circle?
I don't think so.
That's how fast the circle went. You didn't know we was in a circle. And we was stuck off in the ditch.
We were stuck in mud.
So, like, and it could have happened to anybody. The ramp was slick. She was coming off too fast. Accident, it happens. Nobody was hurt. Van is fine. Everybody's cool. But the thing is, I know that was traumatic for her. So, in her over listening or her overthinking, my thing is, shouldn't you have known that I would never throw that in your face?
Okay, but what's an area where it is okay to over listen?
With your own personal stuff?
What?
Like like school or...
No. In a relationship.
Is it ever okay to over listen?
Yes.
This might be something we got to go deeper with.
No, we don't.
Because it's so surface right now. When we're saying over listening in a relationship, what really are we saying? What are we talking about?
You need to pay attention to what is not being said. You know how people are like, don't hear what I'm not saying? But in a relationship, you do need to hear what is not being said as well.
To an extent. Because then you looking through his phone.
Okay, so we lead a small group for our church, guys. And we're going through the 5 love languages. So remember the example about the man and his wife was always complaining about how much he works, even though she appreciates the lifestyle that they have. But it's really not about how much he works as much as it is about how he doesn't put any time aside for them to have quality time with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So what I am saying is, if someone is always nagging about, why don't you ever take out the trash? Why don't you ever fill my car up with gas? Why don't you ever buy me flowers? Like, you know what I'm saying? They're not saying do these specific things on the list. They're just saying they want to see you be more proactive with things that need to be happening.
Right. So how would one over listen to that?
They need to start thinking of ways that they can be doing acts of service.
But here's over listen though. She must really want that. I'm not giving it to her. Somebody must be.
Somebody else must be taking out the trash.
Somebody must be meeting those needs that she's claiming
that I'm not.
Right.
Okay.
That to me
Is overthinking.
Is overthinking it, going too far. And there are people who do that. And now they have created a problem that doesn't exist.
It's not that they've created a problem that does. Well, they have. But they may be overthinking, over listening, as you say, because of past experiences.
But then that's where that kicks in. Because you should know the person. Well,
it depends on the relationship.
It depends on the relationship. I can see what you're saying. What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Send us a message. We want to know how important you think listening is, or if you feel like have you been in a relationship where you didn't listen enough?
I'm sure everybody can say yes to that.
Or did you overthink or overlisten and things didn't work out? I think that's a good place to leave it.
Okay.
So you know where to follow us at. I'll put it back on my head since she wanted it right there.
If you're listening to us on any podcast platform, please go ahead and give us a rating. Mm-hmm. And if you are watching us on YouTube or Facebook, go ahead and give us a share.
That was so nice. Y'all hear how nice she sounded? She's not congested.
This too can be you one day if you take the medicine as instructed.
I take the medicine
instructed on the box.
I take them. I'm taking Sudafed. I'm taking
every 4 hours.
I'm taking. What's the other one I'm taking?
Claritin every 24 hours.
Claritin ain't working.
You're supposed to start taking that before your allergies were going to affect you, so it could be in your system.
Work. Y'all tell me what's a good allergy medication.
And you need to get the Flonase, like I told you. Because nothing ever works for you until you do that. Thank you all for listening to episode 10 of Until Forever.
The end. Is that how you end it?
One day we're going to end regularly, guys.
You say that every episode. It hasn't happened yet.
We're only 10 episodes in.
So you said it 10
I'm pretty
times.
sure most people have stopped listening at this point.